Welcome back to the Tracie Trendy Show, my lovelies. It's another day, it's another dollar, and it's another I told you so. My spidey senses strike again. The world was against Lindsay. All right. And Lindsay will give us many reasons to be against her. But once she came out of jail the second time, she turned over a new leaf and was raising Mylie gracefully. Then Lindsay hooks up with this guy who had a past. He was in prison for unliving someone. And, like him or hate him, he did his time and now he's out and he's successful. And anyway, she moved Miley Gracie in too. And now this is a different one. Romeo and Juliet happened. Not with Chad, that's Lindsay man, but with Chad's son, Bo. And they were like, you know what? Got the hormones are flowing. Not Lindsay, but Mylie taking off with this boy. And you know what? That boy, without a license, took off in the car and got in a wreck. And expect life to be hunky dory. They both did. And his pappy was like, no. And he picked that boy up from school and smacked him right in the mouth. Yes, he did. And then he put both Mylie and little Bo, that's his son, to work on the farm and to clean her room and to wash those dishes. So they didn't like the rules. And Lindsay also took her phone away. They didn't like any of that. So they hatched a plan. And basically wanted to act all like her. You want to act like her. So anyway, there I am looking at child protection's receipts. Thanks to Mary. Quite contrary. Check out her channel. I just knew it. It didn't make any sense. The stepmother wanted to say Lindsay was starving Mylie. Why? This girl is 16. She ain't gonna starve. Even if her mother was trying to starve her, she ain't gonna starve. She's 16. She can go out in the world and find her some food or go back to grandma. And another thing, speaking of the grandma, if you did not want to live with Lindsay, why are you going to move in with the pappy you ain't never been with for so many years? Your grandmother is the one who raised you for a significant amount of time. But no, she didn't want that because that was structure too. She wanted to live with her dad who has no sense of raising her. He's on the road. He gave that responsibility to his wife who has wayward kids himself, allegedly. I don't know. Because what are your kid on online vaping? They all are vaping. And so Lindsay, you know what? She knows. Lindsay was about that life back in the day. She was a wayward teen and she knows all the tricks. And she doesn't want Mylie going down that slippery slope because she ain't trying to be a teen mom's mom. So she was being very strict. Mylie and Bo, they, you know what? They didn't really say anything to child protection. The lie was from the stepmother. Mylie and Bo, that's the kings of the Romeo and Juliet. They did say, I got swatted on the butt. That's what Mylie said. And that only happened twice. Lindsay only swapped her twice on the butt in her whole life, which was not enough to remove them because you're okay to swat on the butt. So that was nothing to remove them from their home. But Lindsay was like, okay, little thing, you little hot little patati. Why don't you give your pappy a run for his money? And see how it goes. Because the girl was like, dad would be better. So Lindsay and the father both agreed that she can live with the father temporarily. Okay? This was no CPS removal. I'm not going to go into whole details of reading all that stuff. Basically, the boys and the girls said none of it happened. No abuse happened. Other than they got to work. And the work is hard. I'm like, you damaged a car. You're not licensed. You took the car, you stole the car, and you crossed state lines. You're lucky you're alive. You wrecked the car and everything. You're lucky you're alive. You got to work on the farm. or the ranch, whatever you want to call it, you gotta work. You and your little Juliet. Because life is too soft for you guys, and you little snowflakes are gonna have to work. Obviously, they didn't want any of that. They didn't want any of that. They wanted just to be free. And so they moved in with Mylie moved in with her father. All right. And basically, Bo, little Romeo, I think he can get in contact with Mylie because his mom is not as strict as his father. But anyway, anyhow, Lindsay's always going to keep a tight leash on this girl, and she's seeing her own child, vaping again. Now, Lindsay's daughter, Mylie, already got suspended because she got caught vaping at school. And also, the Bo, that's Chad's son, got caught vaping. And Lindsay's daughter got caught doing something else unsavory. Okay. So, I ain't gonna embarrass the girl too much, but Lindsay was doing what she had to do, raise the family. I never believed that cornball story that little stepmother was saying. She starved her and she beats her. Look at her bruises. Girl playing volleyball. And then when you move that girl into the house, she quits volleyball. Trying to say Lindsay and Chad is a danger. Child protection was involved. They ruled them not a threat. Lindsay voluntarily elected to let that child live with her pappy. Let him be a daddy to his daughter that he rarely sees. So that is all it was, my love. That is all it was. And now Lindsay's trying to get her daughter back, and the dad's like, no. And now there's going to be some legal proceedings. But all that stuff about processors, Lindsay was trying to escape processors. Look, she wasn't trying to do any of that. Because that happened when Mylie was already living in the household. So she didn't know. She agreed for Mylie to stay with the dad. And all of a sudden, these process servers coming. Like, I ain't trying to roll up in anybody's courthouse. Then to come to find out, he trying to get custody and child support. And she's like, oh, hell to the no. This is a temporary arrangement. You need to get my child back anyway because the time is up. And that's what the child protection paper says. He's ignoring what the documents are saying. And he's dragging Lindsay to court. And all this child wants to do is lay up under this household because there's no rules. And she's going to lay up pregnant pretty soon if there's no interventions. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But Lindsay, she pretty much said she was just like Mylie. She wanted no rules. And that's what Mylie actually said to the social worker. The rules are too strict at home. Too strict. And so Lindsay's like, I know that. I did that. I played that game before. And I wind up pregnant. I didn't like the other household. Came back, tail between my legs, but this time I'm plus a 1 in my belly. So anyway, my loves, my spidey senses strikes again. If you don't know this channel, you should know this channel because you know I always call the shots and I call it correct. This smelled fishy, and I do not like necessarily the biological father of Mylie and the stepmother. They really MAGA people like, to me, allegedly. Because they really got in on Lindsay when she was messing around with Deontay. I mean, they didn't even know Deontay from Adam at this point. And you know I'm not the biggest fan of Deontay, but they just ran him for filth. And I am not talking about the usual way they could have ran him for filth. That's why I knew this lady was full of okay? This stepmother, they just trying to come up with some coins. They know Lindsay's with this man who got a little money. Now, as you like her, hate them, whatever, but right is right and wrong is wrong. You don't just go up in there and play this little role. Both of them need to be raising that child correctly and not let her get away with nothing. And Chad did right. Chad did right by his son. Smacked him straight in the mouth. Hi, I'm going to haul up and call up this school because you're doing some nonsense. wrecking cars. You don't even have a license. And then you drive out of state. I'll be hot as fish grease. Okay, my loves, I'm going to end it here. Drop a line below. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. And I'm going to catch you all out on the flip side.